Right, so this hopefully is the last session of the day. Hooray! So turn to the back of your books and you should be on a session called Session Boredom, dealing with session boredom. So in your books, the books are just asking you if you can have a look at different activity ideas and different ideas for the following areas: the main area, the playground and the garden. Can you just have a look, write down as much as you can, things you could do in those areas, and then we're just going to go through them. It's about as simple as that, to be honest. So if you could just pause and have a look. Alright, hopefully you have now got some ideas written down. So let's have a look. Firstly, main area, what could you be doing in there? So in the main area there are so many things you can get out and play if you're bored. So thinking if you're bored with, like, you know, if you're in the area yourself, how can you keep yourself entertained? Board games, soft play, parachute, get the parachute out. You can make a den with a parachute, you can play parachute games, you could dress up in the parachute, get the dressing up that I'm sitting on. You can get this out, dress up with the kids. Like, there's some children who really love different dressing up games and all that kind of stuff. You should get some of the sensory activities out, like there's the welly boots, there's sensory toys in the preschool cupboard or in some of the other cupboards that you could play with or get them to use. You get different materials and cloths and get the children to play with them and kind of feel the different types. You could also do things like making gloop or get the moon dough out. You could get some sand and play with that. You could get some water and put things in it. You put some flour in the water and mess around with that, or put even crack a couple of eggs and see how that feels. You get them to put their hands in different materials and see what they're and try and guess what they're putting their hands into. You do music and dancing, so you get people up and about, dancing, having fun, enjoying themselves. You can play songs that the children can sing along to. They really love stuff like the Macarena or Gangnam Style, or kind of things with a bit of a dance and a move, and a YMCA as well. You also get out the arts and crafts, so things like paper plates and all that. Think about some of the stuff we talked about in basic interactions, so stuff like paper plate making, but getting different types of like designs on, and you can do some painting. You could get like stuff like the spaghetti we talked about, where you put the spaghetti in paint and sprinkle it all over the place to make paint ideas. There are loads of things you do. And also, there's just playing with the cars, playing with the toys, playing with soft play. You can throw a ball in the soft play, you can play tennis in the soft play, or in the main area with a soft play ball. There's a load of things to kind of get your head stuck into there, and I'm sure there are many more. What could you be doing in the playground? So things you do in the playground, one thing is hide and seek. So there's loads of places you can play. There's some of the children who really like to run around and play hide and seek. You do that around the whole centre, to be honest. You can play ball games, so you can obviously have the basketball hoop, the football, play a bit of hockey, tennis, table tennis, all those sorts of things. You play tag and run around, play cops and robbers maybe, particularly on some of the bikes or something like that. You could get the chalk out, and you could do stuff like the like hopscotch, particularly you could do with the chalk, or you could do like I know, snakes and ladders. There's all sorts of different games you can play with chalk. You get people to write their names, to draw pictures, and maybe you could set up stuff like an obstacle course and time the kids running around the obstacle course. You could do something like an Olympic Games potentially, and running races, throwing races, all those kind of things. And finally, moving on to the garden. So there are obviously a whole lot of things you do in the ball. You can do some ball games in the garden. You could do things like playing with the sand or the water, so sand castles or different other types of sand play. You could hide things in the sand, for instance, to get the children to find them. You could do water fights or different water plays, seeing if different toys sink or float. Playing games on the trampoline, obviously like pushing the ball off the trampoline, seeing if you can get the ball to touch the surface, and the person on the trampoline has to stop the ball from touching the surface of the trampoline. You play some of the sensory games in there. You could get the board games, and you could get stuff like Twister and that out to play in the garden. There's a whole load of stuff again. So there's lots of ideas just completely thrown at you. Go and play with those ideas. Essentially, when you're bored, it's really good to try and stay proactive and try and stay interactive. Like, try and work as hard as you can on not just sitting around doing nothing. Obviously, we can't talk to you about the specific one-to-ones whose initials are on your book, but it might be worth just taking note of some things you can do. If you have a one-to-one who's not particularly interactive, who you struggle to know what to do with, there's a few different things you can try. So one thing might just be little things like tickling, or different other touch things like round and around the garden, or even just giving them a hug, or like sometimes just even just like little bits of touch, because sometimes just, yeah, the children feel like they're being interacted with, they're being loved in certain ways. You could try sensory activities, you try jumping into the ball pool and all of that kind of thing. There's some children who really love arts, or maybe they love like copying noises, so you burp at them, or you raspberry, or you copy whatever they do. Maybe you make loud clapping noises or whatever like that. You could get musical toys out with some of the children. Some of them really like to have musical toys or sensory toys. There's some children who particularly get obsessed over certain swings or certain other types of activities in the playground or the garden. Some children really like to be read to, so you can read to them, even if it doesn't seem like they're taking the book in. They enjoy the act of you reading a story to them, of looking at the pictures, turning the pages, go for walks. You can, obviously some of them really like to have a good chat as well. Some children really enjoy like interactive and really over-the-top role play and all of that kind of thing. And you know, there's other children who, you know, just like playing things like peekaboo or being loud in their face and that kind of stuff. So there's loads and loads of different kind of ideas you can try with them. Finally, a few main points just to make a note of in your books as well. Firstly, try, if you're in an area, to look out for the children who don't have a one-to-one. There's loads of children who won't have one-to-ones over the holidays. It might be worth just trying to give them a bit of attention and a bit of interaction in all that you do. If you can't see anyone without a one-to-one, there may be children who are joining more staff to play with. So some children might want more staff to play with the parachute with them, or to play various other games with them and stuff like that. The key thing is just not to sit still. So there always will be something to do, and the more that you sit around not being proactive, not kind of engaging with your children or anything else, the more frustrating that is for me, kind of in terms of staff development, looking at you, because there is stuff to try and get yourself engaged with. If you really are bored and you're stuck and you're not sure what to do, ask a team leader, do you think there's anything I can do to make this area more exciting? I'm feeling a bit lost for ideas. Can you think of anything? And they might come up with some ideas, and you've shown some initiative there rather than passively sitting around. I mean, if you're in an area and you're bored, the last resort is to just tidy the area up a little bit, or clean it a little bit. Like, obviously not with the cleaning products, but you know, to clean the litter in the playground or something like that. So there are other things to think about. If you've made all your notes in your book, you're done, I think. Hopefully, this should be the last session, unless you've kind of done it in a funny order, which I guess you might have done, but this is the last part of the book. So I just want to say thank you very much for taking part in these videos. I hope they've been helpful. I'm sorry if they haven't been as enjoyable as they could have been, but you've got all the information you need, you've done the book. Hopefully next time we'll see you at the actual weekend, so you'll be able to join in with all the stuff that we do. Obviously make sure your whole book's filled in, and then once you've filled your book in, bring it to me. I'll go through it, make sure that you've gone through all the sections properly, and then I can ensure that you get a certificate and you get paid for the time as well. So once again, thank you very much for your time in doing all the training. I hope you have a really awesome time working over the summer, and we'll see each other soon.